Welcome back. You're watching Bottomline Africa. Let's continue with the broadcast. Now, every year in Togo, the sea nibbles more than 2 meters off coastline and up to 10 meters in some parts of the coast. Coastal erosion affects all of West Africa and is distorting Togo's landscape and driving out fishing communities.
On Togo's coast, just east of the capital Lomé, villagers are feeling the devastation of sea level rise. Only the remains of this fishing village are left standing. Kojo and his family had to leave their fisherman's cabin when the water began to rise.
The
house, everything, there's nothing left. We're here suffering. We are suffering. I don't know where we're going to be able to stay right now.
The sea reclaims up to 10 meters of land on this coast every year. Entire communities have been forced to flee. In Bagida, 500 people made a living from fishing. They have not received any government assistance to relocate or rebuild.
We have no way of finding the money to rebuild our house.
A glance towards the horizon reveals a likely culprit for the coastal erosion, the constant stream of gigantic cargo ships in and out of the port of Lomé. Locals allege that after the port's construction in 1967, the sea level began to rise.
La raison principale de l'érosion qu'on a étudiée jusqu'à maintenant.
The main reason for the erosion is the infrastructure of the port along the coast that disrupts sediment transit.
This dike in the harbor blocks the sand currents that would otherwise build up the coast. Global warming is also accelerating the erosion process.
Climate change, with its warming effect on the planet due to melting glaciers and rising seawater temperatures, is an aggravating factor in coastal erosion.
Aggravant qui permet de renforcer ou bien d'accentuer l'érosion côtière.
In all, 3,000 people have been displaced by the rising sea level. Several hundred others are awaiting their fate, anxiously watching the waters.
All right, as we conclude today's edition of Bottomline Africa, we want to leave you with a special report from Uganda. 25% of teenage girls in Uganda have given birth to children, making Uganda the leading sub-Saharan country with a high number of teen pregnancies. In the eastern district of Kamuli alone, more than 70,000 teen pregnancies were recorded last year. But as our Ugandan-based correspondent Solomon Serwanja reports, the country remains at crossroads, with parents too afraid to talk to their children about sexual reproductive health and teachers held back by the lack of a legal policy framework for sex education. Enjoy.
The youngest to come for first visit ANC. She was 13 years of age.
The villagers and the community do the best part of havoc to these girls. It is a pity that some teachers also do the same.
Teachers are not empowered. They also are gambling about how do we talk to these young people.
They prefer sorting it out of court. And so you find a parent receiving a goat in exchange to a teenage pregnancy of her daughter.
Kamuli district, located in eastern Uganda, has attracted my attention. Statistics from the 2018 District Annual Deliveries Report are worrying. 7,070 teenagers below the age of 18 are mothers. Think about it. The district alone contributes largely to the 25% national figure for teenage pregnancies. In order to get to the bottom of this social evil, I tracked down a young mother who had just given birth a month ago. Namigea Fiona is 16 years old. She conceived at 15 and gave birth to triplets. This should have been a bundle of joy. But to Namigea, it's a journey she was never prepared for. She has had to learn many things about being a mother, from breastfeeding 3 babies to spending sleepless nights and facing poverty. Her story starts with a friendship experience at school while in primary 6.
Omulenzi oyo yalinga akuba chapati kuntuma ku isomero kwe nali nsomera.
The friendship grew into a love story that was peppered with intimacy.
Ikati era naavanga eyo waka neidanga eno weibwe naagololanga neirayo. Iyankobanga ayenda abaana.
Soon, she got pregnant, giving birth to triplets at Rubaga Hospital in Kamuli district. However, her father couldn't take her in anymore.
Baba we yategeranga nzeera abaana yakoba ati noonya baba abaana yali okola ki otwala abaana. Zena nakola ki naafuna bazeere bamuzaala n'aleeta n'abaana wano weene bamuzaala.
She currently stays here with her in-laws, but with no support from the father of the children.
Ayali serious okwira okundida ndaba awo yawulira nga nzeera abasatu yalumukawo.
Life for this young mother has since changed. Education is no longer her priority.
Okwirayo okusoma tiri kwenda. Kati ndi kwenda kulabirira baana. Sobola aleka baana bange ninja ku isomero.
Taking care of her triplets is a full-time job.
Banfunira kwengoye d'abaana n'okulya oba banfunirayo ka business kembe nfunenga mu sente d'abaana. Okubafunisa sabuni okwambala engoye nzira.
For now, she has to depend on her in-laws for support, but her load seems too heavy to bear.
Mpera nonzaawo nze namulabirira ntya baana basatu nzira buyambi bwona ndiga nondi mwafunga muli kumbona n'emmere gye tulyaga no wazira ni buti omwala kalikomba ku kyamusana.
Sometimes she is helpless, unable to provide for Namigea and her 3 babies. She thinks of the worst.
Nzira buyambi ndiga ndirabulira izigala kati kyampa negumba nokutuga ko unja nga amale galeka kuno mwene ati wanalabirira abaana nzira kyakola.
Many times, she blames Namigea for getting intimate with her son.
Chapati na mandazi, amuga akasoda akubati ntebi. Akubati ntebi omuvubuka ibona mbuti yamuleka gano. Kuziro.
Muzei Balia Isabirie is the father of Julius Fabiano, the father of the triplets. He is also the LC1 chairman of Butekanga village. Isabirie says disciplining children has become a challenge.
Ena kudi no mwana womubula no mukuba emboko. Kese kuliku. Aye tubabulira twabatyamya twababulirira. Aye niwo okuba baabira n'abasomesa owaife nakyo okubya omwana. Tobona. Kale n'ekyo kityo. Abaana tubabulirira.
As the local leader, he has also called for several village meetings to discuss teenage pregnancy.
Ngutyamisa n'olukiikaawo nakoba abali n'abaana abawala babalabire naddala ebiseera ebyeigulu okuba mu senta nga tyenda mwana babe mu senta okwetunza obugaati bondaazi bukyapati butyo butogo.
Right next to Namigea's home is the residence of Mary Bagala, another 15-year-old teenager, now 3 months pregnant. She dropped out of school, having conceived while in senior 1. Her boyfriend too has also gone missing. She faults parents for not speaking to their children about sexual reproductive health. According to her, schools too have not played their role. So what has her mother got to say?
Gakale tiri musuubikiza mu bintu ebyo wandikulowooza nti oba oli awo ndakumubuulirako omwaka ogulikola ki oba oli awo oguli kwida kuba naye tiri kumusuubikizamu ki kufaanana atyo.
She however says many of the girls in the village are easily taken away.
Kuba mpegaana omwana omulenzi abaako n'akasente ayenda agulire ku omugala obwandazi obwo alyeku obusoda anweku obuchapati obwo biboneka bye balikola ki bye bali kutandikirako ebyo okusobola oba okutuuka.
These 2 case studies are just a drop in the ocean. My next stop is at Bugulumbia Health Center 3. It is antenatal day at the maternity ward, and they're visibly teenagers who have come to seek for services. According to the official records for the financial year 2018-2019, this health center has registered 191 teenage pregnancies. They form part of the 2,412 cases of teenage pregnancies which were registered in Kamli district during that financial year. Munyete Abdallah is the health assistant in charge of this facility.
We received the youngest to come for first visit ANC. She was 13 years of age. And out of that 191, we had one of 14 years and around 5 of them. And from that, you realize that these ones have got the stamina, as the saying of today, stamina, of coming out broadly to come for the services. But there are those with the stigma or other reasons as to why they don't come. So it's a big challenge.
Nevertheless, Abdallah and his team have gone out to several schools to talk about these issues, but have been greatly challenged.
The sub-county I have told you, it's big. It has got 44 schools. And out of the 44, on the PHC, we managed to reach only 4 schools. And the 4 schools managed to go to secondary schools. But on the data, you find that even the 15-year-old, according to the background here, you find 15-year-old girl in primary, where we have not reached. So you find that when we don't reach there, there will be knowing nothing.
Speaking of schools, I visited Nawandyo Church of Uganda Primary School, one of those that have registered school dropouts in the past because of teenage pregnancy. Here, the talking compounds and walls are screaming abstinence, stay a virgin, and stay safe. But are the children listening? Ibanga Henry Samuel is the head teacher for the school.
We had a girl in P4. I think it was around 2015. In P4, she was found pregnant. So since then, we designed that program. And every time we call medical personnel to come and check these girls.
Ibanga has been in the classroom for over 10 years. He feels that government has not done enough to provide policies and frameworks to guide and train teachers on matters of sexual reproductive health.
The teachers should be sensitized too, because most of these teachers do not know the government programs concerning the sexual reproductive health. But it is very, very important that the government steps up if we are to help the future generations of this country. These learners need to know the dangers, the problems of early marriage and early sex.
Recently, government launched the Sexuality Education Framework, but halted its implementation following public outrage. Ibanga has no idea about the framework.
We have not seen it. I last heard it when the Minister for Education was talking about it. But it is not here. We don't even have it as a document in our offices. It is good, but it needs to be brought up to the grass level.
Brian Wafire, a program officer with the Coalition for Health Promotions and Social Development, has been working with young people in this sub-county, visiting schools to talk about sexual reproductive health. Wafire faults government for not establishing a legal framework to support access to information on sexual and reproductive health in schools.
Teachers are not empowered. They also are gambling about how do we talk to these young people. Let them be empowered on how to engage these young people, because they are spending most of the time in schools. The rest can be addressed when the policy environment is clear, when the parents are sensitized, when the schools where these young people are majorly attending are also empowered enough. We shall address that problem.
So I decided to look into the policy and legal framework surrounding sexual and reproductive health in schools, since many of the parents have left the responsibility of talking to their children to schools. While there is a draft that has existed for 18 years, it has never been tabled on the floor of Parliament. Without a policy in place, the Ministry of Education developed and passed the National Sexuality Education Framework in March 2018 to guide on what should be taught in school. However, its implementation was halted after facing resistance from several stakeholders.
The policy is not yet finalized, and that is the fact. It's still a draft. The framework is not functional yet because we are still re-engaging, but all is not lost. Over the times, the schools have been doing a lot of work in the area of sexual reproductive health. Only that, what we do in the Ministry of Education is what really fits within our mandate. We don't go broader than where our mandate ends. So when you, for example, quote the example of the school talking compounds, the talking compounds throw a very, very strong health message.
The ministry, however, says that it's a concerted effort that needs to be embraced by all stakeholders.
It is a thing for the religious leader down there, right from the village level, to focus his theme of the sermon on that subject. It is a duty of the local council down there in the village. It is the duty of the auntie of this girl back home. It is the duty of the parents, most importantly.
Semakula says that sometimes parents are largely to blame.
And so you find a parent receiving a goat in exchange to a teenage pregnancy of her daughter, irrespective of the consequences that are supposed to come thereafter. So, I think, and we as Minister of Education, of course, think that we have a lot to play, but we can't do it alone.
The ministry continues with consultations with different stakeholders. What we are not sure, though, is when these consultations will end.
As we talk, we have re-engaged part of the Anglican leadership, led by Bishop Mtagali. We have had some engagement with the Muslim leadership from Old Kampala.
Moses Mulumba is the Executive Director of the Center for Health, Human Rights and Development an organization that has been calling for legal reforms in the access to sexual and reproductive health information in schools.
The development of the school health policy moves with the National Development Plan. We have seen 2 national development plans without a school health policy. We are now getting into the 3rd national health plan, which actually gives us an opportunity to prioritize health in schools. Now, if we don't get the school health policy passed as part of the 3rd national health policy plan, then we miss out on that component of health in schools.
Mulumba says legislators need to weigh in on the delay in the passing of the health policy.
We know that the policy-making process is the role of the executive, but Parliament plays an oversight role. Therefore, as part of the oversight role, it can ask the executive, what the hell is a policy doing for the last 18 years not being put in place? The area MPs have to be concerned. In these areas where we go, it's where the girls are suffering. It's where the statistics are actually recorded.
Mulumba is warning that if this is not addressed, Uganda could get into an abyss that it may fail to get out of.
We need to define the roles of the stakeholders as a beginning point. Define these roles right from the families, get to the schools, and then get to the policy level, and be very clear on what people are supposed to be doing.
Conversations to stop teenage pregnancy in Uganda may take more than just policies, but focus on the realities that young people are having sex.
Young people nowadays, if they
be given access to contraceptives as a measure to deal with the high teenage pregnancy levels in Uganda.
The key thing here is giving them the relevant information and education about those family planning services, but also going ahead to teach them how to use them without necessarily using them in the wrong way or even in an inappropriate way. And this can be done when everyone comes on board. Health workers should go ahead and tell them about these things because they need to know more about them.
As for Namigea, Fiona, and Mary Bagala, this is a little too late. They have to deal with the fact that they are now mature before 18. Could we have done better? Can we save more girls from teenage pregnancies? Question to ponder. Solomon Serwanja,